All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases. It's Monday. We kick off a new week. We've hit the home stretch, boys. 2 weeks left of the regular season. And Bryan, if I got to say this, if the chat has listened to you and just straight up bet your theory of if you need to win at this point, you weren't that great of a team in the first place, you're probably printing money right now, especially in the National League, because every team that has needed to win, per se, has lost for the past week or so. I'm talking about teams like the Mets, right? And maybe that's not even the best example. But the teams, I think the better example is these teams chasing the Mets. The Reds went to West Sacramento, got swept this weekend. You know, the Giants, it was sitting right there for them at home. They lost back-to-back games to close out the week. It's been kind of incredible to watch. The Mets did finally win yesterday, but they've let everyone back into the race, which is great for us, I guess, as fans. We now have a wild card race in the National League. That's where I want to start today. The Arizona Diamondbacks are 2 games out of a playoff spot. 2 games. They're 75-75, 6-4 in their last 10 games. They won both of their weekend games to now draw to just 2 back of the Mets. Bryan, I've said this whole time, they have a postseason caliber lineup. They just haven't had the pitching. So D-backs Giants, essentially playoff baseball. Where are you going with this one tonight?
Yeah, last 2 weeks of baseball, most teams have 12 games left. And you mentioned the Diamondbacks are about a 5% chance to make the playoffs now. The Reds about a 5%. Giants about a 10%. Even as well as Cleveland's playing, they've only got 11%. So the Mets finally got the win yesterday, and I think it was because of me, because I had a small play against them, and I like the way Texas was playing as opposed to the Mets, and the Mets ended up getting that home run late and getting that victory. But yeah, it's right now. It's tough to win. It's tough to win anytime. And when people say that it's important to win at the end of the season as opposed to the beginning, no, mathematically, a win in April is just as good as a win now. So anybody who says that clearly does not know math. But you've got to pack up these wins. Look at all the wins the Cubs packed up early in the season, and now they haven't played well since the All-Star break, and still they don't need to win. So you need to pay attention to that. But, yeah, we're looking at San Francisco against Arizona. Tang going for San Francisco, Gallen going for Arizona. We're looking at basically Arizona's about maybe a 130 favorite right now. Total of 9, slightly to the over. And when you take a look at the numbers from Kai-Wei Tang, 7.52 ERA, but only a 3.69 expected. His whip is horrendous at 1.76. In fact, he's pitched 33 innings in the major leagues. He's got a 8.29 ERA, 1.87 whip. Now, it's a very small sample size of 33 total innings for 2 seasons here. But if you look at his Savant page, and he hasn't pitched enough yet, but his fastball velocity is in the 28th percentile, his extension 34th, does have problems with walks. He's at 13% walk rate this year, but his barrel rate has been excellent. It's hard hit. Everything else has been very good. So I think if you were to bet Tang the rest of the season, you would be profitable. We're going with Zach Gallen here, who has turned his season around a little bit, but still comes in with a 4.84 ERA, 4.51 expected, 1.28 whip. And really, other than his ground ball rate and his extension, which is slightly over league average, everything else is in the blue. He's not having his good season. He still throws his four-seamer 46% of the time, even though it's 1.5 mile per hour lower than an average right-hander. He's pitching better now than he did earlier, but I'm not so sure Arizona deserves to be favored here. And there has been some money coming in on San Francisco. I lean with San Francisco in this one just because I trust Tang's StatCast number more than his actual numbers that he's placed. And, 2 teams fighting for the playoffs here. And Arizona's got the better offense. San Francisco for, 3 weeks was the best offense of baseball. Now they're slowing down a little bit and coming back to it. They are bringing up their first baseman, Eldridge, I believe his name is, and he's their number one prospect, and they're bringing him up. We'll see how that goes. Last couple of weeks of the season, don't know how much he'll play, but at least he gets up there and he gets to look at it. I prefer San Francisco here as the dog. Don't know if it'll make my card. It's a smaller card today, so don't know if it'll get there, but I'm leaning that way.
Hey guys, nice to be back. If I look different and sound different, it's because I'm on my laptop in my Phoenix home. But yeah, long flight. I'm in the US now. If you check my Twitter, which is I think down there, you'll see I've been posting my bet slips because I'm going to the casino at least twice a day. So not a degen or anything. Not at all. But it's very nice to be back. Hey, doing this show in the morning is quite a different feel. If I lived in the US, I would not have agreed to doing the show at this time.
Oh my God, it's for
Bryan, what a trooper. 6 a.m. But anyway, so yeah, regarding this game, this interesting you picked this game to start. I have this game the tightest matchup of all. These two teams tight. Hitting, they're both top 10. Bullpen, they're both bottom 10, and starting pitching is really the only difference. But Gallen, although he's a trusted veteran, he's still only 4 points over Tang. I got them both right around 20 out of 30 on a curve of 30. So man, this is just tight all the way up and down. Bryan mentioned that the Diamondbacks are just 2 games out of the playoffs. Well, so is San Francisco. Both teams have a chance, so they're both fighting. So there's no real edge regarding that. And so I took a look at Gallen's history against these batters. Nothing special. He's pretty average, actually. He's got like about a 220 batting average against and about a 750 OPS. So no real edge there either. So if all things are equal, you have more value betting the underdog. So I kind of agree with Bryan's sentiments. And also I agree with Bryan. I'm not there yet. So I haven't bet it. But if I were to bet it, I think San Francisco would be the only way to go here.
TB, you could go to this game if you wanted to. How far are you from Phoenix? Yeah, I mean,
it's 15 minutes from my house. So.
Right. I was gonna say my buddy, one of my best friends growing up, moved to the Phoenix, Arizona area, and he'll text me all the time. He'll be like, "I'm sitting third row for like $20," like because we grew up going out to Fenway, going to Yankee Stadium. He lived in Boston for a while, and I mean, just like. It's never a cheap ticket, and he lives in Arizona now. He's like, this is awesome. Like my wife and I go dirt cheap, and we sit like right behind the dugout. So it's just like being in a smaller market. But yeah, huge game, and I'm with you guys. The Giants definitely show some value here. So I want to talk about Kai-Wei Tang's AAA numbers for a second. They're crazy. In AAA this year, he's got a 3.63 ERA. But the thing that jumps out the most to me. 89 strikeouts in 57 innings at AAA. That is a lot of swing and miss. I know it's AAA and it maybe hasn't, materialized at the big league level yet, but like Bryan said, small sample size at the big league level. If I'm going off of memory, I think he pitched against the Padres in back-to-back games, and there was the first game his defense totally let him down. Like someone botched a double play ball that like continued this inning. And then the same Padres team got to see him like a day later or 6 days later. Sorry. So, I'm going off memory here. I know he pitched well against the Nationals. Point is, he hasn't had a ton of time at the big league level yet. And last year, he wasn't very good. Like he made a lot of changes in the offseason that have helped him a ton going into this year. They talked about it on a Sacramento River Cats broadcast one time. That's why I know that. In AAA this year, he has a 197 batting average against, and the strikeout rate is crazy. I am not. Bryan can do the math for me there. 89 strikeouts in 57 innings. That's like insane, right? Like that's insane numbers even at any level.
Yeah, basically everybody won in the major leagues. It's 1-1, basically, slightly around 1-1. So even in the minors, that's amazing. And I just wanted to point out while we're doing the show and we're talking about how early it is for Brandon. He reached for a Diet Coke as opposed to his. So it's early in the morning. There you go, Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many people like don't realize he's in Japan and just think he's like hitting Fireball at 9 a.m. Like if you're on the East Coast, it's got the Fireball at
6
9 a.m. Yeah. Two things.
Now I can see why Bryan was making those faces when I'm swigging Fireball. I couldn't imagine drinking right now at 6 a.m.
Two things that people in the chat have brought up that I think are great points. Well, Colin and Bryan said this as well. Bryce Eldridge, huge call up. I mean, I don't know how he's going to fare right off the bat at the big league level, but this dude has insane power. Like just from a straight up like standpoint of putting a power bat in the lineup, that is a massive upgrade. The problem is, and the reason that he probably hasn't been called up yet, little too much swing and miss, and I think he would get exposed at the big league level pretty quickly. But you know what? There's 2 weeks left in the season. No one knows how to pitch him yet. So, like, I mean, you're probably going to hit him 5th or 6th, and suddenly you have like a big time home run threat. I understand what they're doing with him. And then Steve Duke says someone has major belief in Tang. They're letting him try to lower his ERA. Yeah, when you have 89 strikeouts and 57 AAA innings, like people are going to believe in you a little bit.
You deserve
I'm a believer in him as well. Like I'm a believer in him as well because of what they sort of pointed out on the River Cats broadcast this year. All of the different tweaks he made last season to this season. He throws a lot of different pitches. So guys with like a pretty extensive pitch mix, especially starting pitchers, when teams haven't seen them much, it's they tend to be a little bit tougher to figure out. I'd much rather have the Giants here against Gallen, a guy that I think has been sort of overvalued all season, than try to lay a price against the unknown. In this case, the unknown being someone I think is pretty good. So I'm with you guys. Giants definitely show value here for sure. Bryan, is that a Vandy hat? No, that's the Vegas Golden Knights right there, Markinson.
Vegas Golden Knights. It's getting to be hockey season, and my second love other than baseball is hockey, so I'm getting excited. And our Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA team, won their first playoff game yesterday. So, yeah, it's a good time to be in Vegas. Unless you're betting sports.
Admittedly, I never got super into hockey, which is really dumb because I live in the Northeast and it's so big up here. But I go to college hockey games sometimes and they are a blast. So I have to say, like, even though I know nothing about the sport, going to the hockey games, we go to Colgate games all the time. I promised I wouldn't bring them up, but I did on this show again. But we go over to Colgate hockey games all the time and they are awesome. So much fun. So
hockey games are the most fun out of any sport I've ever been to. I'm not a soccer fan, and I guess soccer would be outside of the United States or whatever. It's exciting for those guys. For me, it's not. But I never handicapped hockey until Vegas got a team, and ever since, I just in love with the sport.
Hockey is by far the best sport to watch live.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch live. I still, it's mind-boggling to me that Syracuse University doesn't have a hockey team. I feel like that they should be like so big time in college hockey, and they don't have a team. Go figure. But we'll move on. Let's stay. I want to stay in the National League playoff picture because somehow, and I just want to make sure I'm speaking correctly here before I go to this game. Yes, somehow the St. Louis Cardinals should be so dead and buried at this point. But like even them, and this would be pretty far fetched for them to get back into it. But even the St. Louis Cardinals are only 4 games back. And they start a series with the Cincinnati Reds where Bryan Leonard, I don't know, how do you get off the mat after you were swept by the A's in the situation the Reds were swept in, where it's like they're giving you every opportunity to take over that last spot, and you couldn't go to West Sacramento and get 1 win. That being said, do you like this spot for them in St. Louis tonight? Do you see them sort of bouncing back here?
I'm in agreement. Young team in Cincinnati, the changes that they've made at the All-Star break, and since the All-Star break, and what they brought in for the run, Zattel being one of them, have not really worked out. We're looking at the Libertor at home, about a 108, 110 favorite, and Littell 8.5, basically across the board on the total. I was looking at a way to play St. Louis here. Don't know if I'll get here. If you take a look at Zach Littell, 3.78 ERA, 4.60 expected, 1.12 WHIP. He doesn't walk anybody, and he's got a pretty good chase rate, but everything else is in the blue. He has not had that great of a season, even though his ERA is good at 3.78. I'm not a buyer in him, like I said. The last 3 years, he beat his expected ERA, and I just don't think he's that great of a pitcher. Not that he doesn't have value at times, because anybody's got value based on the line of the game. But I'm not a big fan. Liberatore, I thought we'd get more out of Liberatore in this time in his career. He's in 4 seasons. He got a 4.71 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. It's starting to show that he is not anything special. His chase rate's decent at 67%. Doesn't walk anybody, 79th percentile. But once again, we see a lot of blue on his StatCast page. So we got 2 pitchers I would look to go against, but we're getting an 8.5 here as opposed to an 8. Don't know if I'll get there with the over, especially Cincinnati. Who can trust them anymore, especially on the road? So this is a game I'll be sitting out. But hats off to St. Louis. They've been out of it for so long. They've had a lot of injuries on this team to some key players, and yet they come out and they continue to play well. That's an organizational situation. They're a very good organization. And I've been to a lot of major league ballparks across the country, and St. Louis has got very knowledgeable fans. When there's a fly ball hit, they don't go crazy like every other sport. They look where the outfielders are at. And it's something I taught my wife years ago. Just look at the outfielders when the ball is hit. If they're not moving, it's not a home run.
Yeah.
Unless it's really hit 450 feet and they just stand there and watch it. But yeah, I'm not going to get involved in this one.
Yeah, if the outfielders are jogging slowly towards the fence, it's usually a home run. But yeah, here's one. If you checked my Twitter account, my Twitter X account, I did post a bet slip on this. So I kind of agree with Bryan's cap, but I kind of gonna go the opposite direction, and I'll tell you why. But before I do that, go to wagertalk.com to see what we have up. I already put my feature MLB play up with a free play as well. I'm sure these 2 gentlemen will be doing the same thing if they have not already. So wagertalk.com, check the free play page because we all usually have something up. I agree with Bryan. Neither pitcher has good history against the batters they're facing today, and neither pitcher gets a lot of confidence from me because neither one has been performing very well. So got to look somewhere to find some value. Again, I agree with Bryan. I would lean to an over, given the fact that both starting pitchers are struggling, especially against in the head-to-head. But neither lineup is actually instilling confidence in me either. They're both ranked 21 or worse out of 30 teams in current form. And both bullpens are basically kind of average, toiling in mediocrity, as I like to say. Cincinnati's slight edge in bullpen. This is one of those games where I have one team better at every category than the other team, but just better by like 1 or 2 points. So it's not a huge confidence. But I got Cincinnati ranked higher than St. Louis in almost every category, but only by a couple points. Another thing I like more about Littell than I like about Liberatore is his walk to strikeout rate. He's only walking 27% of the batters he's striking out, where Liberatore is walking about 40%. But I don't see huge discrepancy between these 2 teams anywhere else besides there. But just the fact that the Reds are a little bit better at almost everything than St. Louis. If you checked my Twitter account, you saw I did put a small $20 bet on the Reds -1. -1 is one of those things where if your team wins, you don't lose your money. So I look at it as a very low risk bet. And I got the Reds -1 at, I think, +145. So it's worth a $20 play to win $47 to me. Because I have these 2 teams, the second most equal cap of the day. But the Reds a little bit better at almost everything, so I think it was worth a small play there, but nothing huge.
Mark Martin in the chat says, if anyone has Caesars, tonight's matchup between the Texans and Bucks, you can get like a price that's 50 cents off mark. I'll always point something like that out. That's just folks helping folks here trying to beat the books. Like if there's ever a scenario where a book is going to give you a bet at plus 115 that the market is minus 150 at, you should probably try to find a way to get down on it. Just straight up numbers. I mean, that happens every once in a while. So thanks for sharing that, Mark. I will share, if I play Major League Baseball today, I'm going to give it out for free. I have a 5% NFL play up. I did lose my first NFL game of the season yesterday, but I'm still 5-1, and I have a 5%er that goes in Monday Night Football tonight. So check that out. And like I said, if I do get to the window with a Major League Baseball game today, it's going to be a free one. And maybe, who knows, maybe it'll happen on the show. But if it doesn't happen on the show, I'll probably do a video for it or post the write-up. So I will not be selling Major League Baseball today. Just tell you that right now. Not committing to playing it, though, because there's only 9 games. So I got to see if I can find a way in. The way I would go into this one probably won't be a client play, but I kind of do see runs. Not enamored with either of these starting pitchers. Both have, like we kind of use this term, but both have a lot of blue on the StatCast page. Expected ERA is not, expected batting average, not great. Matthew Liberatore isn't getting a ton of swing and miss in the zone. He gets guys to chase pitches, but when it comes time to like punch him out and he's got to sort of come back into the zone or he's behind in the count a little bit, it's very much out over the heart of the plate. I think that's been one of the big reasons he hasn't really taken a step forward. He's almost like, man, the Rays traded him. If the Rays are willing to part ways with someone, there's got to be something wrong with them at this point. I think just going off topic here, I'm pretty sure this is who they scammed the Cardinals for to get Randy Rosarena back as like a player to be named later in a trade. It's like just like an all-time fleece job by the Rays, who are just very good at doing that. Point I'm trying to make here is a very roundabout point. He's looked very average. I think he may, you look at his last 3 years, whips like 1.3, 1.38, ERAs in the mid 4s. My gut and my eyes are telling me that that's probably what he is. He's just kind of a consistently okay big league starter, someone you want to you keep in your rotation because he's consistent. But I just don't know that he's like shutting many teams down, and I don't think he's going to shut the Reds down. On the other side, like Bryan said about Littell, I mean, expected ERA is 4.60, expected batting average 270. Those are not great. Only throwing like 91 miles an hour. Not now, again, no strikeout there either. I guess his best attribute is he doesn't walk anyone, but like that's not great if you're being in and around the plate is a good thing. Being out over the plate, not a good thing. These are big league hitters. They can hit that. And then I'll go back to the fact that we're getting the nice number of 8.5. I love that number on and over because both teams get to 4 and you're cashing a ticket in Major League Baseball. So I like the over here. Probably won't make my card, but that is the way I look at this game. I also think both teams have bullpens that can be had, if you will, that can give up a timely hit or two. And these 2 games, the Mets don't play today. So these 2 games we've started the show with today, there's a half game to be made up if you win. I mean, they're all going to be going for it. And this game in particular, my gut tells me Reds Cardinals have a late run or two, a late hit. None of these teams have like super high leverage arms that I trust. So again, that just helps me to over 8.5 runs. Sorry, were one of you going to follow up there? I rambled, which is not, it's par for the course for me.
We can go to a different one.
All right. Sorry about that. All right. Let's go to a different game. Let's stay in. I want to make sure we'll get to some of the quote unquote meaningless games, but I do want to try to focus on some of the games with meaning. I'm going to go to the American League here. Rangers Astros is suddenly a very important, well, not suddenly. It's just a very important game. Bryan said he missed with the Rangers yesterday, but they've been playing great. They've played their way back into the mix. The NL West, don't look now, but there's my Mariners back at the top of the division by a game, and the Rangers are 3 back. So when I gave out on my free pick video last Tuesday, the Rangers were 12-1 to win this division. And this was the series I had circled where it's like, this is the series they need to have success in, and they might be able to run down the Astros. Well, here we are. Rangers did their job last week, 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're 3 games back, and they get head-to-head games against one of the teams that they're chasing here in the Astros. I like Jack Leiter. He's someone that I think is moving in the right direction. So, Brian Leonard, do you think he's good enough to get the Rangers a win on the road here?
It's going up against Jason Alexander at Houston, and Houston's about a 125 favorite, total 8.5 to the under. Jack Leiter, yeah, he's pitched better lately. I think he got hit pretty well his last start, but overall, I like the way you put that very well. He's trending in the right direction, and I agree, because his numbers are not overall great. 3.81 ERA, 4.63 expected, 1.31 WHIP. His fastball velocity is very good. His extension is very good. He's only 6'1", but got an 89th percentile extension. Those are the highlights. Everything else is in the blue. So he shows you how poorly he pitched in many times this season. But I think he's going up there. He's got the good fastball, 97.2 miles an hour. He throws it 38% of the time. One of the few guys that probably could get away with throwing it even more. And I don't say that much about fastballs, but he's had good success there. Jason Alexander. He's pitched better than what I thought this year. 4.19 ERA, 4.57 expected, 1.31 WHIP. But he can't get any chases at all. He's in the first percentile in chase rate, hard hit rate, 11th percentile, fastball velocity, 10th percentile. He's really not a good pitcher. And for him to come in this season with a 4-1 record, obviously they scored some runs when he is on the mound. But out of the two, I prefer Leiter. We're looking at a weaker Texas lineup than what we saw earlier. Obviously, Seager's been out. He's out for the rest of the year. They've had some other guys that are disappointed offensively. But if I play it, Texas is probably the only way I go. But I don't think we're getting enough here. You can catch 113 as the best comeback on Texas, as low as, plus 100 right now. But I prefer the Texas side. I'm just not getting the number I wanted. So, unfortunately, I'll probably sit this one out.
Yeah, guys, go to wagertalk.com and see what we have up. My feature MLB play is already up along with a free play, so go grab that. Some of my casino betting tickets are posted on Twitter right now, so check my Twitter out as well. I agree with Brian. I'm not going to play this game, and I'll tell you why. 2 pitchers who have 1.3 plus whips. Not a lot of confidence in that, but Leiter is a strange guy because he's got a really good ERA with a pretty bad whip. You take a look at his head-to-head stats against these batters. Not a huge sample size, but 33 is decent. 212 batting average against with a 740 OPS. Not terrible. It's actually pretty good. But if you take a look at his rankings, I have Alexander ranked quite a bit higher than him, so I'm kind of at a stalemate there. Don't really know what to make. It's the pitching matchup here is kind of an enigma to me. Texas definitely has a bullpen advantage in current form. I have them ranked 5 while I have Houston ranked 13, but both bullpens performing quite well. So over, under, not sure. Let's take a look at the batting. I got the Astros batting just a little bit better in current form, about 5 points higher. A stalemate for me, guys. I don't know which way to go here. I think Jason Alexander is a better pitcher, but if you peel back the skin of the onion or whatever that saying is, Leiter is actually a pretty decent pitcher. He was one of my chronic walkers at the beginning of the season, but he's kind of cured that a little bit. So I'm not going to bet his walk prop here either. So don't really know where to go. I'm with Brian here. I'll probably lay off this game.
Someone needs to explain to me how Jason Alexander has not gotten absolutely pummeled at the big league level this year. I need someone to give me a thorough explanation of how that's possible. This dude should be getting lit up like a Christmas tree, but he's just not. And sometimes there's something to that, right? He gets no swing and miss. So it's like everything's in the zone. He essentially throws 4 pitches, none of which he doesn't have like a plus pitch. So when I see a guy that I think should be getting hit, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, why does this guy not get hit? Okay. And so I look for swing and miss. Well, he's not getting any swing and miss. Does he have a really good pitch? Does he have a really good differential that's confusing someone? Not really. Sinker, change, sweeper, four-seamer, 90 to 92 on his fastballs, an 80-mile-an-hour changeup. It's not like he has this great wipeout sweeper. So I look at him just like, how is this guy not getting crushed by big league hitting? I don't know. My gut says he still should be getting crushed by big league pitching. I meant big league pitching. Sorry. So I can only go against that. I cannot understand how he's getting outs. Like, what did he do in his last start? 7 scoreless, something crazy like that. 7 scoreless against the Blue Jays. What am I like? I need to know what I'm missing here. How is he going against the Blue Jays and not giving up a single run? I mean, he's right-handed pitcher. So then I'm like, is he a lefty? Is he like kind of crafty? Does he confuse guys? I can't figure it out. I feel like this guy should be getting crushed at the big league level. Now, Colin makes a good point. He goes, Astros system working their magic with a random pitcher. They definitely have done that at times. So maybe he's, maybe and he did not one thing I'll also point out, he did not start the year in the Astros system. So some of those numbers, he was with the A's. I do think he got a call up with the A's earlier this year for a period of time. Got knocked around, ended up down at Sugarland. Now he's with the Astros. I still have to look to fade him. And as far as Jack Leiter's concerned, I'll say this again. I said this last week when he came up. I think the Rangers maybe mismanaged him in the minors a little bit here. So last year, Jack Leiter, very young top prospect. Typically, you don't call these guys up on a win. And the Rangers did it like 3 times last year where it was like emergency 27th man for a doubleheader. They called up Leiter. He got crushed. Bad situation for him. Then he goes down to the minors. He's pitching well again. I remember it was the A's because the A's called up Osvaldo Bido on the same day. And it was like, okay, let's just throw the 2 AAA starters that were supposed to pitch that day in the mix. Leiter gets called up, crushed. So it's like they kind of killed his confidence last year. And then this year, he's at the big league level. And suddenly, like, he's got stuff to work out. And they're trying to have him do it at the big league level. So when you look at his profile, it's like he's got this great fastball, 98 miles an hour. Big arm, big time heater, great extension. And it's like he just hasn't really developed the out pitches yet. But that's where I say he's trending in the right direction because I think that stuff is now, we're in mid-September. I think he started to develop that a little bit. And I think you've seen it with him like post All-Star break. He's been much better. So when I look at this game, Leiter's a guy I want to bet on. Alexander's a guy I want to fade. I'm not in love with how many relievers the Rangers have used the last week or so, but I've said this all year about the Rangers bullpen. They don't have like these big time leverage arms. It's more of a depth thing. So it's like the 6th guy out of the Rangers pen is like kind of the same as the 1st or 2nd. So I'm less concerned about Rangers bullpen usage than I would be like, let's say another team that has like huge closer 8th inning guy. And then there's a big drop off. So I'm definitely considering the Rangers here. I don't know if it's going to be my parlay leg. I want to see how the rest of the show plays out. But plus 110 on the Rangers in this spot seems very intriguing with Leiter against Alexander. Okay. Let's go to I want to go to Mark Kinson. Somehow lost his comment. I lost his comment. Anyway, Mark Kinson wants to talk Rays Jays. I don't know where the comment went, but it's there somewhere. And he wants to talk Rays Jays. And I'm fine with that. This, Bryan, I think this is a great illustration of why there's like more value in Major League Baseball than any of the other pro sports, because you just don't get the nuance like you do in other pro sports, where you have a team like the Blue Jays who are probably going to win their division, and they're going to call up one of their young guys, and a lot of people are really not sure why. And I think if you can like kind of understand how some of this stuff works, it's a good assessment of value. So I'll let you start, but this looks like Blue Jays Rays. We should see the Major League debut here of Trey Savage for the Blue Jays. Do you have a starter for the Rays yet?
I don't. I
think it might be Boyle. I think it might be Joe Boyle, but I don't know if that's confirmed at this time.
Yesterday they put Pepio up quickly and then took it down. So maybe it's not going to be him.
So I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess we just, I don't see anything listed yet. I'll try to find it on Twitter, but I know we're going to see Trey Savage for the Blue Jays, which is notable. One of the top pitching prospects in their organization, and he's going to make his big league debut. So for Markinson, let's talk Rays Jays.
We're looking at basically a 110 to 115 favorite for Toronto. Tampa Bay, obviously, don't know who the pitcher is right now, but we're looking either 8.5 over or 9 under. This is a guy, if you're a Toronto fan, I think you're got some great excitement there. He's a major strikeout pitcher. So I can see their announcers saying after a strikeout, "Yes, Savage." I think that would be awesome. But he's their number one prospect. He's only 22 years old, and that is a concern bringing him up at 22. And he's not pitched a lot of innings. This year he's gone about 150 or so on 4150. But in the majors, I'm looking for him to have some pretty good success here. Major strikeout guy. And at age 22, we'll see how it goes. He is a righty. And normally when guys come up that aren't known, I prefer lefties over righties. But I think they're going to bring him up. They said they want the best arms in their bullpen when they get to the playoffs. So they'll let him start. I don't know how long he'll go. He'll probably go normal time. But when he's used in the playoffs, probably you may see him as a bullpen arm. Unless, of course, he, for some reason, has a lot of success, like the Mets pitcher, and if it does, he'll be there until they decide that he's thrown too many innings. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe he'll be an opener of some sort. But the rest of the regular season, he's coming out of the bullpen. Can't comment on Tampa Bay because we don't know who the starting pitcher is. But the line's somewhat favorable here for Toronto, considering they're still fighting to win that division, and Tampa Bay is long out of it. It's a cheap number if you believe in Toronto. You can't do anything but go up from here. So I think it's if you're looking to bet it, get in on them now, and maybe you can beat some line movement or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of X factors in this game. Looking up Trey Savage, what does he have? 160 strikeouts in 98 innings. Pretty good stuff. A little bit high ERA in his minor league career, but Adam will probably talk about that a little more than I will. So yesterday, when Pepio was the listed starter, kind of was leaning towards Tampa Bay, but simply because you have an established pitcher against the guy who's making his major league debut, I would see a little value there. But now that Tampa Bay has changed it to undecided, look, I have both of these bullpens pretty equal in current form. One of them 13, one of them 14. So not a huge discrepancy or value there. Tampa Bay definitely has the hitting advantage, though. Or I'm sorry, Toronto definitely has the hitting advantage. I got them ranked number 2 in MLB, where I got Tampa Bay ranked 15 in current form. So where does that put us? Still a lot of X factors, but I think a kid making his debut with a power-packed lineup behind him, given how electric he's been in the minors, maybe a slight advantage here for Toronto. I'm seeing minus 120 or something. I don't know. That might be a little bit too steep for someone making his MLB debut. A lot of X factors here, but I think Toronto will probably win the game, but too many X factors to play it for me.
Really good point before I get into my breakdown by Turnbuckle Tommy. You'll see movement all day up till game time. Books really aren't confident in their MLB numbers until right before first pitch. That is a very that's a very observant and like astute observation. I think that's very accurate. They're never confident in the overnight. You really can't get much down on MLB overnights anymore in many places. A lot of books have sort of limited your ability to like bet big overnight. And it's for that reason. They're just not confident in what these teams are going to do. Like I say, Joe Boyle here for the Rays, like he was supposed to pitch for Durham yesterday and he got scratched. So that's where I'm getting that. I really have no clue if he's going to be their starter, but I know that he was supposed to start for Durham yesterday. He got scratched at the last second. That typically means big league club called and said, hey, we need a starter for tomorrow. You're not going to use him. Throw someone else out there. So that's what they did, and that's why I'm saying Boyle. Now, I've watched every inning of Trey Savage at the AAA level since he's been called up. First of all, this dude will be playing in his 5th different level of affiliated ball this year, which is kind of crazy. He started in A ball, not high A. He started in single A, and he's gone single A, high A, double A, triple A, and now he will be pitching in the majors tonight. The reason I say you really need to know like the nuance of the situation is they will be looking at him here. I feel like he's going to be kind of an opener for this game. The Buffalo Bison's broadcast talked about this like last week. The Blue Jays are looking at him as a relief option. They want to see if he can be like a 1-inning option. They've actually gone as far as to bring him out of the bullpen in minor league games. I think he will likely start this one, but I think you're going to see him maybe 2 innings. So that's the only like concerning thing for me is that I don't think this is like a start. I think this is like maybe see if you can get the Rays' top 4 or 5 hitters out. I'd be shocked if this is more than like a 2-inning outing for him. I will see. I mean, he's gone so far at AAA. His longest outing at AAA was 4 2/3. But that was about a month ago. The last 3 times he hasn't pitched more than 3 innings, and I believe 2 of those were relief appearances. And then last week against Rochester, he took the first 3 innings. They could have easily took him out. The 3 innings he pitched against Rochester, or they could have easily left him out there. Sorry. Last week, the 3 innings he pitched against Rochester at the beginning of the game, 4 strikeouts, no walks, got every batter out. So it's like it wasn't like they couldn't have just left him out there for the 4th inning. I think he went 9 up, 9 down. What I've noticed in his big league in his AAA starts is guys are not chasing quite as much. His walk rate is a little bit up. That makes sense, right? You're facing more veteran hitters, but the strikeout rate is still there. The stuff is so nasty. I don't really know what to do here because it's like I think he could come out and be filthy, but I don't think you're going to see it for more than 2 or 3 innings. So you're going to have to figure out what this Blue Jays bullpen is going to do for 7 innings or 6 innings. And that hasn't been great, right? The Blue Jays bullpen over the last 2-3 months really hasn't been that great. So, and I like Joe Boyle. If it does in fact end up being Joe Boyle, he's not someone that I'm like dying to bet against. So just my take on the game, probably no way in it for me, but TB, you know what? Do they still have first 3 innings at any of these books? Is that still a thing?
They do.
It was.
Yeah, DraftKings does. I know they have first 3 like totals. I'm not sure if they have sides though.
If you could get like the first, if you could,
DraftKings offers first 3, first 5, first 7.
I thought they did. If you can get here's the thing. What I've noticed about first 3 and first 5 is a lot of times they just copy paste. They don't really change it very much. If you could find a first 3 innings Blue Jays line or a first 3 innings under, that's like the most likely scenario here. I think he comes out, wipes out the Rays' top 5 or 6 hitters, but I don't think he's in long. So if you can find a way to like isolate that, that's like the way you would play the Savage here, in my opinion. Also, no, I'm not drinking a twisted tea. I haven't seen a twisted tea in like 10 years. I didn't even know that still existed, but I do have a Minute Maid zero sugar right here. Someone's like, is Trig hammering twisted teas on a Monday morning? After my weekend, I mean, I guess you could say that might be a possibility. After watching Travis Kelce try to catch a football, I wanted to drink a few twisted teas, but no, I'm drinking a sugar-free lemonade right here. Okay, let's move on. Here we go. Let's go to Mark Martin. He said, Brian Leonard, he's asking you specifically, and you're going to start anyway, so this is great. He says, is the Phillies at plus 115 in auto play? So right over to you on the Phillies. I forgot who they're even playing. Hold on. Dodgers. Oh, well, of course we have to talk about this game. Then Phillies, Dodgers. Go ahead.
I can't believe we've gone this long without talking about this game. You get probably the 2 best teams in the National League going head-to-head here. Interesting game. You got Ranger Suarez, the lefty, who will finish in the top 5 in the Cy Young. He's been terrific all season long. Emmett Sheehan going for the Dodgers. And I like Emmett Sheehan. He's starting to come around. He's starting to pitch a lot better. And there's actually talk now that he may make the rotation next year, which was a long shot if they were all healthy. But we've got Sheehan coming in basically at about a 120 favorite, total of 8.5 here. And you're looking at Ranger Suarez, 2.77 ERA, 2.97 expected. Other than his fastball velocity, which is only in the 7th percentile, he's not going to blow anybody away in that regard. 91.3 on his four-seamer, and he only throws it 14% of the time. His numbers are awesome for the most part. He doesn't have great extension. He's only 6'1", but his hard hit percentage, 99th percentile, average exit velocity, 97th percentile. And you got the Phillies offense, which is pretty good. The Dodgers, Emmett Sheehan, 3.32 ERA, 3.51 expected, 1.09 whip. His ground ball rate is a concern in the 7th percentile because this is a pretty good home run hitting ballpark in LA. Barrel rate 10%, hard hit 23. I like Emmett Sheehan. I do, but I'm the same thing as the person who requested this game. I think Philadelphia plus money here is a decent bet. How often are you going to get Ranger Suarez with this team getting him plus money? You can get plus up to 109 Pinnacle right now, but as low as plus 100 other places. But this is a game that got hit a few minutes ago. Atlanta got hit, and the Yankees have been hit a little bit. But this one, if I'm going to play a side, this may be one of them that I may take a look at. I like Philadelphia here. Don't be scared off with the plus with the small plus price. As much as I like Sheehan, I think the Phillies have the better pitcher, and the Dodgers bullpen, even though they've got all that great talent, I don't know if I trust them. And from a hitting standpoint, two very good teams, but the Dodgers have some weak spots in that lineup where Philadelphia's is better 1 through 9, I believe. And the game probably means a little something for Philadelphia, even though they've racked it all up and they've got it all tied up for the division and everything. They are playing the Dodgers, and that gets everybody excited. So, yeah, somewhat like Philadelphia here.
What an amazing turnaround this Dodger bullpen has made. I got them in current form. I got them. They've seemed to have turned things around. I got them ranked number 9, where I got Phillies bullpen ranked 20 in current form. That doesn't mean that's what their talent level is. It means current form. There's a lot of factors that go into that. Meaningful. If you're playing meaningless games, your bullpen numbers are going to suffer because you're not leveraging your best arms. So there's a lot of factors there. Two teams that are hitting great. I have both teams in the top 4 in MLB in current form hitting. So I'm impressed with Sheehan as well. I mean, if you cover his name, look at his 3 ERA with a 109 whip, you would think that this is Tyler Glasnow or Ian Snell, not Sheehan. But so Dodgers have a pretty formidable pitcher on the mound as well. Phillies have Ranger Suarez. So Suarez actually has been touched up a little bit against these batters in his career, though, an 87 sample size at bats, 313 average, and an 845 OPS. So who's doing the damage? Well, Miguel Rojas, not the guy you would expect, and Freddie Freeman. A lot of guys are 9-4. We got Mookie Betts 9-4 against him. Conforto 2 for 8. And he looks like he's never faced Ohtani before. So I don't know. I would lean Dodgers, but too close to play, actually. I just have these, sometimes this is why it's hard to win playoff in almost any league, because when you have solid teams going against solid teams, there's less of a gap there. So as future predictors, which is what sports betting is predicting the future, you want to find these gaps between the teams where you can take advantage of a good price. There's less gaps when you have two really talented teams like this. So I don't really see a gap. I would probably take advantage of Ranger Suarez's poor numbers against these batters in his career and go with the Dodgers, but it's not really enough for me to play it.
TB, I know you meant to say Blake Snell, but like I haven't thought about Ian Snell in forever.
Oh,
and I
whoops.
had a flashback. No, you said Ian Snell, and I had a
Yeah.
flashback to those horrible
o'clock.
Mariners teams that were such a good fade for like a year. I think Ryan Roland Smith like forgot how to pitch, and you could just have like bet against the Mariners every night and you made money. It was I think Ian Snell, you have to go like maybe 10 years ago. Mariners.
Yeah. Whoops.
They were really
Pirates.
bad. No, that's a great name pull right there, even though it was unintentional. I just have not heard that name in a minute. But I'll tell you what, going back to this game, going into next season, this is a profile. Ranger Suarez is a profile that I'm going to circle. Like, and these are the types of guys I think you just want to bet on because they're criminally undervalued in Major League Baseball today. What do I mean by that? It's a guy that has command. It's a starting pitcher that doesn't throw particularly hard. So they're not flashy. So they might not have crazy strikeout numbers. The books, they're not everyone's favorite pitcher when it comes to props and stuff like that. But they have command of all 5 of their pitches and they throw them all well. There's no holes. There's no pitch that you can really sit on. You look at a Ranger Suarez is fast. What does he throw? 91 miles an hour on the heater, but he's using it as a show me pitch. He throws it 15% of the time. And he's really only using it to say, look at this. He's never throwing it in an area where you can do anything with it. And then it's basically sinker, change, cutter, curve, and he can throw them all for strikes. And today's hitter just can't hit that because today's hitter is not Tony Gwynn, right? Who in his worst season hit 290, I think. Is that correct? I think that's accurate. I think like the worst stretch of his career, his worst 162 game stretch, he hit close to 300. And you just don't have hitters that approach the game like that anymore. And it's making these types of pitchers very underrated. Kyle Hendricks might be like one of the best points of this, what we've talked about him on the show, where it's like you have guys that like they should be getting crushed by big league hitters, but big league hitters don't go up there with this approach of like, I just want to do anything possible to get on base, put the ball in play, move it along to the next guy. And then you get a guy like Ranger Suarez who throws 90, but it's like he can put the ball where he wants. And all of these lineups or every big, like, look at his numbers. Look at the underlying numbers. It's all red. It's all really good. So it's like, there's no way I'm betting against him. And there's no way I'm laying a price to bet against him. So to go back to the initial comment, Mark Martin, why would you lay a price to fade that? Right? Like I could only bet the Phillies here. And I do like Sheehan TV. Like I like him as well. Mm-hmm. So maybe you could look at the under. But why would you lay a price to fade someone like Suarez? Go ahead, TB.
I can't let you disrespect Tony Gwynn like that. His career batting average was 338.
Yes, I know. I'm saying the worst
162 games.
Worst 162 game stretch of his career. He still hit like 291. Like that is
He was an amazing batter. The best batter I've ever seen in my life, hands down.
We're getting down to it, guys. We haven't put out any plays yet. So let me
all right.
Let me go off the board here. I'm gonna take a look at this Cubs-Pittsburgh game. Tyon against Ashcraft. Tyon right now is about a 115, 120 favorite. Ashcraft 8. And I am going to play the Chicago Cubs team total under 4.5 here. The wind's blowing in slightly, 6 miles an hour, not a lot, but this is a very good pitcher's park. The Cubs, if you go back their last 10 games, I believe, they've scored 5 runs or less in either 6 or 7 of the 10. They're going without their best hitter. He's on the IL again. And I really like Ashcraft going for Pittsburgh. And we also have a Pittsburgh bullpen that is available. Braxton Ashcraft, 2.47 ERA, 3.51 expected, 1.20 whip. Great barrel percentage, 97th percentile. Great ground ball rate. He doesn't give up a lot of hard hits. I'm going to play the Chicago Cubs team total under 4.5 and lay the 140.
Should I continue with this game?
No, we have time. Continue with this game. What do you got with Cubs Pirates, TV?
Yeah. Another real tight game between these two. I got the Cubs hitting better and a better bullpen. Actually, the Cubs, in current form, I have their bullpen ranked number 2 in MLB. But Brian's right. Ashcraft has been amazing. My numbers love him. And the Cubs hitting, despite being higher than Pittsburgh, I still have them ranked 18 in current form. So if you take a pitcher who's performing this well against the number 18 lineup, I certainly would not disagree with Bryan's team total under there.
Yeah, I've said this pretty much all year since he came up. Big fan of Braxton Ashcraft. I think the Pirates actually, I was confused why they wanted him pitching out of the bullpen when they called him up, but I actually really think it helped him a ton. I think it showed him what his max sort of potential is, because they were putting him in a situation where it was like, hey, go out 3 or 4 innings, throw hard. And I think they're doing the same thing with Bubba Chandler to an extent, or at least they tried to. So I really am a fan of Ashcraft. Another reason I'm a fan of him is he's kind of gotten maybe a little bit like, well, at least, when he was in the minors and stuff and coming up, when you got guys like Skeens and Chandler and you have all these pitching prospects, he was forgotten about a little bit. And he's arguably, he's as good as anyone else in that organization. In any other organization, he would be probably the top guy in the minors. So I think he's been able to fly under the radar a little bit. Maybe not so much now, but there's still value when you play a team like the Cubs. As Bryan said, the Cubs, they haven't really hit since the All-Star break. So why expect them to hit now against the guy that's done really nothing but throw the ball great the second half of the season? I think Ashcraft is a stud. I just think to what this Pirates rotation could be next year. It's, you could have Skeens, Ashcraft, Chandler, Jared Jones. I mean, my God, like this team should be awesome next year. And it's been part of my point this whole September was your two spoilers for me were going to be the Orioles and the Pirates, teams that were going to be way better than where their market price was. I kind of see that today. I make the Pirates a slight favorite here. So I'm fine. I very much agree with Bryan's assessment of this, and his number on team total under is likely better than Pirates plus 1.5, which is minus 150. So I think you found a good way to play it as well. What juice are you looking for right there?
Minus 140. You can get cheaper, but most of them right now are at minus 140.
Yeah, and if you can't if you can't play a team total under in a parlay, you're roughly the same price if you went Pirates plus 1.5. It's minus 150. That's the way I would play it personally, but I'm by no means am I disagreeing with. It's basically the same bet in my opinion. You need Ashcraft to pitch well if you like the Pirates, and you need Ashcraft to pitch well if you're going to hit that Cubs team total under. Okay, TB, do you know what game you want to put in the parlay? Because we've already talked about my leg, so I'll go to you.
Yeah, I would like to do my leg in the Yankees-Twins game. I'm going to cheat and be a cheap ass again. I'm going to take the Yankees here at minus 190 on the money line. I like Rodon a lot better than I like Woods Richardson, yeah, that's his name. Okay, I forgot if it's Richardson Woods or something. It's like he's Hillary Rodham Clinton or something. Anyways, I mean, Woods Richardson has not been good. Despite his 6.4 record, he still has a 1.39 WHIP. Just don't like it, and I think has been pitching. A second. I'm getting okay. Rodon's been pitching just lights out. I mean, he's been great. The one thing that alarms me a little bit here is Rodon is not a real good road pitcher, but I don't think that'll be much of a deterrent here because he's just been so good. Even though his road numbers are worse than his home numbers, it's still 3.34 ERAs. Pretty good stuff. I know ERA is not the tell-all stat, but I mean it's a good indication about how well. I got some weird video playing. Hang on, let me turn it on. There we go. So in his career against these batters, 45 at bats against, he's got a 156 average and a 431 OPS against in 45 at bats. That's pretty good stuff. Yankees are just a better team, and they're kind of on a roll here despite getting crushed by Boston. I did have Boston yesterday, by the way, but I think the Yankees bounce back here. Parlay, I'll take minus 190. That's fine with me.
Colin says it's his play of the day. You're not going to get any argue from me there. I mean, obviously the juice is high on just them to win, but you're putting in a parlay. No
Right.
argument for me. I have a pretty big edge to the Yankees there as well. I'll close it out with the Rangers. that was kind of how I was going to go. I wanted to see how the rest of the show played out, but I really think the Rangers are the correct side here. I think Jason Alexander is going to get pummeled at the big league level at some point. And even if he doesn't, I still like where Leiter is going. So, Brian, are we still looking at like plus 110 for the Rangers?
Yeah, it's basically plus 110. There's a couple 14s, and there's also some plus 104. So plus 110 is about average.
I have a feeling I have a feeling the Rangers might take some money throughout the day as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that went off closer to even money. So TB, I'll balance off the Yankees favorite a little bit with some plus money. And we are right, like, very big couple weeks for us coming up here. We are pretty much dead even on parlays this year after we lost on Friday. So we got to have a big week on the parlays, at least hit a couple to keep us in the plus for the year. And this one, I just want to make sure I've got this correct. So this one comes out to plus 454. So really not that bad considering we've got a nice sizable favorite with the Yankees in there. Plus 454 is pretty solid. And I will read that off one more time to close out the show. We have Bryan Leonard, Cubs team total under 4.5. Tokyo Brandon says Yankees minus 185. And then I'm going to go with Rangers plus 110. So you've got 3 full game bets. Rangers, Yankees, Cubs team total under 4.5. Hopefully we kick off the week. The fact that we have 1,000 people in here live watching Major League Baseball when football season has started is awesome. We love that. Let's keep that energy up through the playoffs. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. We all have plays up on the site. Go over to the replay. If you've missed any of the show, as always, go to the replay and on the Ranger Talk YouTube channel. While you're there, maybe drop us a like and a subscribe. Hope everyone has a great Monday. We will see you guys back 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. More Total Bases.